Playbook for Performance, the official podcast of Shauna Corden, the Joan of Arc for corporate healing and performance. Join the quest to make work fun again by preparing leadership for engaging workplaces. And now, your host.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Playbook for Performance podcast. I'm your host, Shauna Corden, and our mission is to make work fun again by building better leaders. So over the past 13 weeks, we have been talking about how you can build your resilience in 2023. The goal is to make it so that you bend like a willow in strong winds versus break like an oak when things get tough. And this is part of a 20-week challenge. Today, we're talking about investing in your life, which is lesson number 14. So let's get started. So when do I suggest this lesson for my clients when I'm working with them? Whenever I hear my clients talking about things over experiences, or I'm hearing a theme of them observing rather than participating, or even ignoring the value of time, I think, this sounds like they're coasting, they're taking the path of least resistance, that there's a lot more opportunity out there for them. And so what can they do to invest in themselves? We are our greatest investment. It's not our home, it's not our car, it's not the balance in our 401k retirement plan or our stock portfolio. It's really ourselves, because we are the only thing that continues with us constantly throughout the duration of our life. Cars come and go, homes come and go. Retirement balances certainly dive up and down based on the whims of the stock market. And so we really want to invest on ourselves. And there are three key areas where you can invest in yourself. One is your personal development. This is learning, and I don't necessarily mean educational institutions, although those are great. But this could be books, this could be podcasts, this could be YouTube videos, any of these things that help further your understanding of your knowledge, context in the world, personal awareness, communication methods, things like that help your sphere of influence. Those are all great areas of personal development, and I would include spiritual development in that as well. So if you are a person that follows a particular faith, diving into the texts of that faith. I'm personally doing the Bible in a Year podcast. That has been really great to listen to that every day. Following that up with the readings in the Bible to reinforce that, looking at the concordance, all of those things, that's a great thing. Maybe that's religion is not your thing, or organized religion is not your thing. This might be meditation or prayer of some sort that could be part of your spiritual development as well. Even things like yoga. The quality of your life. This could be upgrading things from the very small to the very large. So many of you know that I was doing 75 hard. I completed 75 hard. It was great. I was drinking a gallon of water a day. And in that process, I started to think, maybe I should test my water. Maybe I should get a water filter. I'm lucky enough to live in Oregon, where we have the greatest water in the world. I'll go on record and say that. But I started to think about that. Every time we travel, I really miss our Jura espresso maker. I miss our Tempur-Pedic bed. And so those are things that I'm pleased that I made the investment in, because they upgraded the quality of my life. The same would be true if you had a less than reliable car, or less than reliable processes for running your business or doing the work that you do for someone else in a business. Upgrading the documentation, making sure that you've got standardized, repeatable, really robust procedures for things. Those are all super helpful in terms of quality of life. Taking care of your health. just being flexible, having good nutrition, having a strong immune system. And then finally, this last area is the ability to earn money. So way back when I was in college and my brothers were in high school, we had a family therapy session. And I distinctly remember the therapist speaking to my brothers about the ability for them to earn money. You know, that with a certain level of education, they would only be able to conduct certain kinds of roles at a certain level. The greater their education, the more that their billable rate could be. And seeing my brother's eyes open to that opportunity, like, gosh, if I did this and this, I could earn twice what I earn. You know, that sort of idea was really appealing to them. And so if you think about your ability to earn money, it may not be in today's standards what it has to do with education, but what is it that people really want? What do they want to learn? One of the things that I do in my practice is a done in a day. So there are a lot of organizations that want to implement a coaching approach to their business and train their leaders and implement an internal coaching program. And traditionally that stuff can take months. But one of the things that I offer is a done in the day, where I basically do a data dump with the key people and say, okay, we're going to set up all your processes. We're going to set up all your procedures. We're going to get all your documentation in order, and they're going to have it done in a day. And then, so if you have that kind of ability to help people get something done in a day, you can charge a lot of money for that. And so that might be something that you have a really unique skill set or knowledge or background that could help you with that. Scott Adams, the illustrator, writer of Dilbert, talks about this in Tools of the Titans, Tim Ferriss's book. And I'll put a link in the show notes about Tim Ferriss's book, which is a series of interviews that are really fascinating. But he talked about this idea of, I was a pretty good drawer, not a great drawer. I was pretty clever, you know, and I worked in business. By intersecting those three, I was able to create Dilbert, and it's been pretty good for me. So that idea, if you're, you know, at the 80-90% level of something, if you could add more to that, if you could intersect it with a different area, that could be quite valuable. So let's consider some more about this. We do have to take some space and time to say, how do I want to invest in myself? You know, Gary Player, who's one of the most famous golfers ever, I remember listening to an interview with him, and he was saying, I just think it's so sad that so many people are not willing to make an investment in themselves, their bodies that they will carry through with them their entire lives. They're not willing to, you know, make the investment in exercise equipment or nutrition to make sure that that equipment really serves them well their whole lives. That's a great way to think about investing, because if you don't feel physically good, you're not too energetic about doing anything. So that might be a good place. I would also say that about a mental space. You know, what is it that you need to come at your work or approach your family members or colleagues with a good attitude? You know, do you need to feel mentally well? Do you have to have enough space in your calendar? Do you need to monitor your attitude? And in 3 weeks' time here, we will be talking about choosing a healthy attitude. So be sure not to miss podcast 78, because we'll be going through that in some detail. You also want to think about, have I ever made a conscious investment in investing in myself? And it could be that you took a How to Meet Friends and Influence People course, you know, the Dale Carnegie, which regularly salespeople tell me is the best training they ever took, regardless of all the things they do. Could be that. Could be that you hired a personal trainer to design an exercise program for you. It could be that you met with a nutritionist and had, you know, all your food sensitivities mapped out, things like that. Maybe those were some conscious investments you made. But what would it take for you to make it a priority? What would you have to be willing to set aside, at least temporarily, so you could really focus on this and develop a habit? And as I've mentioned in previous podcasts, James Clear talks about that idea of your identity is the thing that needs to shift first for success in forming a habit. So, thinking of yourself as a person who puts yourself first, recognizing that the investment in you will upgrade your entire community. You'll be a role model to others, you'll be more encouraging, you'll be more patient, etc. So what is it that you need to internalize before you choose to make this investment? I do think, in alignment with what I just said about the James Clear comment, you must believe and identify with these two ideas. One is that you're worth it. The second is that nothing has a better return on investment. What else is going to be with you forever? So, where you can invest. Marketable skills. 20 years ago it was probably Java coding, I don't know. What is it now? Is it social media? Is it communication? Is it follow through? Is it resilience? What is it that you feel is super important and marketable? Attraction. What is it that will make you, and I don't mean like physically alluring attractive, but I do mean spatially and spiritually attractive to other people. The basic law of attraction says we get back what we send out into the world. And so what is it going to take for you to upgrade what you're sending out in the world? Managing and reinvesting funds. So whether it's income from your business or other practicalities, that's a great thing to make sure that you understand that you are doing this wisely and that you're consulting with others so that you are learning the best methods to really be wise with your money and other investments. Personal development, quality of life, we've both talked about, and again, that ability to earn. It could be looking more at that Venn diagram of here's my talent, here's the need, here's what feeds me, putting that all together to say, this is where I can charge the most money. This is where I can upgrade my lifestyle because this is what people really need and want and are willing to pay for. So, where to start? I would start with what in your life is not as you want it right now. Maybe you don't have the Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe you're feeding yourself with less than healthy foods. Categorize those things that are not as you want them. Prioritize. And then think about the investments. Now, investments are way more than money. So I think traditionally we are trained to think of investments as money, but it's time, it's money, it's energy, it's emotion, passion, and thinking time. And we don't create anything if we haven't imagined it first. That's your superpower. So you really have to be willing to invest some time in that. What's your minimum that you're willing to invest? What's the maximum you're willing to invest? Where is your ROI going to come from? And how are you going to measure your progress and adjust accordingly? Because we don't want to just make it static, measure, and then not do anything about it. We want to tweak it so we can get even more effect out of it. So if this is your first time, please recognize that there are 13 previous lessons that we've gone through in this 20-week challenge. At our site, you can download a theme sheet that'll help you with setting mini goals each week and rewards, consequences, etc. Do encourage your partners, your friends, your colleagues to join in the challenge because a rising tide lifts all boats. You don't want to be the only resilient person in your workforce. You want the rest of the group to do it. And we do provide this workshop for an internal workplace. So if you're a leader, if you'd like to bring this into your workplace, do contact us, because 150,000 people have been through this workshop with me in order to develop this strong personal foundation. So if you are on Apple, be sure to hit that kind of subscribe or follow button. If you're following us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have comments, if you have questions, if you would like us to cover a question or a follow-up you have about this lesson, just send us a note to podcast@shawnacorden.com and we'll get back to you. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Playbook for Performance. To learn more about Shauna Corden, her consulting programs and tools, please visit her website at shawnacorden.com and follow us on social media at Shauna Corden.